Hi everyone! Welcome to this week's ASL with Liz. While we wait for everyone to climb on before we start our flashcards, let's explain what we are going to be learning about today. So today we are going to be learning about fairy tale signs, so things that happen in fairy tales, like books and those kinds of things. So that is what we're going to be learning about today. And as always, we are going to start off with doing some flashcards. And then we will read a book. Today we are going to be reading Clever Jack Takes the Cake. And this one's by Candace Fleming and G. Brian Carras. So that's the book we're going to be reading. And then we are going to be doing a Mad Lib. So if you have suggestions for some of the words later, please put them in the comment section below. And I have bowls with sticky notes that say different things on them. So for one of them, we're going to need school subjects. So I have one that says history. So if I don't get any suggestions from you guys, I will be pulling from there. But my first thing is going to be getting suggestions from you guys. So, and then we'll be doing a song, and then we will wrap it all up. So that's what we're going to be doing this week in ASL with Liz. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's get started with these fairy tale signs. Uh-oh. I dropped one. Our first sign for today is princess. So, for the sign princess, it goes here. And you want to make sure you make it look like a P. So here, here, and then down here. I'm going to scoot back a little bit. Here, here, and then here, here, and then down here. And that is princess. Okay, for our next sign, dragon, because there's lots of fire-breathing dragons. So, for dragon, to sign dragon, you act like you're blowing fire out of your mouth. And that is how you sign dragon. Okay, so for prince, it's going to look very similar to princess and also to king. But there are very important distinctions. So, a K is held like this and a P is held like this. And you want to make sure you're holding your P, your hand like a P, and you're going to drag it across your body. Because you know how princes wear sashes? So that would be a prince sash. So prince. Let's see what our next sign is. Music, because there's lots of music in fairy tales. So music. I'm just going to tilt this down slightly so you can see me a little better. Perfect. Okay. So that is the sign for music. Music. Okay, and our next sign is book, because fairy tales are all told in books mainly. So, clap your hands together, and then put your hands together and then act like you're opening a book. Just like that. Like your hands are a book and you're opening. I love reading, so this is one of my favorite signs. Let's tilt this up just slightly. Sorry guys, I want to make sure that you guys can see everything. Okay, so now our next sign might be a little scary. It's the sign for witch. So, to make the sign for witch, you hold your finger in like an arc and you bring it out from your nose. Because you know how witches have long, crooked noses sometimes? So that is the sign for witch. Our next sign is the sign for crown. Because every prince, princess, king, and queen needs their crown. So, the sign for crown, you hold your hands like you're holding like the sign for plate almost. And you just act like you're setting a crown onto your head. I'm going to go sideways so you can see it. So you're just setting a crown on your head. And that is the sign for crown. And it's like this, not your whole head, but like 2 fingers, crown. Okay, and our next sign is the sign for Disney, because Disney tells so many different fairy tales. Okay, so for Disney, you cup your hands like this, and then you put them to your head, and you tap your head twice, like Mickey Mouse ears. Perfect. Okay, so that is the sign for Disney. Okay, and then our next sign is boat. So boat looks like that. So you cup your hands like you're holding some water in your hands, and then you just bring it forward. I'm going to bring it to the side so you can see. You kind of make the boat hop a little bit. So you act like the boat is taking a little hop. Like boats float up and down on the water with the waves. Okay, our next sign is happy, because they all live happily ever after. So for happy, you take your palms and you make circles on your chest. Like this. Happy. So I'm happy. I'm happy. And you only have to do it twice. So I'm happy. Just like that. Perfect. Okay, and our next sign is fairy. So, fairies, for fairy you go like this. So you bring your hands like this to the other side, and then you flap like a fairy flapping his or her wings. So, fairy. Beautiful job, guys. Okay. Magic. Okay, so for magic, I had to write a description because I couldn't find a picture. So, you put your hands like this, like you're sprinkling glitter or something else on the ground, but you hold your hands like this, and then you circle them around like you're stirring a pot, and then you throw them open. So, circle, throw. I'm going to do that like this. Circle, throw. Circle, throw. Circle, throw. And that's the sign for magic. Okay, and our next sign is the sign for king. Now this sign is going to be really, really close to prince, but you want to make sure that you're doing the sign just how intended so that it doesn't get confused. So this is the sign for king, and it looks exactly like prince, except, so this is prince, and this is king. So you want to make sure you're tilting up, because that's a K. So king. Perfect. King. make sure you're pointing up with your fingers, and for prince you want to be pointing sideways. King, prince. So you can see how it can be really easy to confuse them, but you want to be really careful. Okay, our next sign is love. So, love. So you make your hands into fists, you cross them, and you hug yourself. Hug, love, love. Okay, so if you were using it in a sentence, you would say, so I love books. So there's an example of how you would use it. Okay. Okay, and now our next sign is pretty fun because it is the sign for pirate. So for pirate, you just hold your hand over your eye. Pirate. Awesome. Okay, and our next sign is the sign for story. 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 So I'm going to do that sideways so you can see. Story. 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 Perfect. Story. That's the sign for story. Okay, and our next sign is kingdom. So, for kingdom, you make the sign for king, and then the area. So, kingdom. Okay, and our next sign is for dream. So you put your pointer finger to your head, and then you bring it away like it's a worm. Like your finger is acting like a worm because you gotta just wiggle it. So you just wiggle your finger away. So that's the sign for dream. Our next sign is the sign for queen, and this one looks almost exactly like prince and king, except for it's a Q instead of a K or a P. So, just like that. So, queen. Queen. Just like that. And that is a sign for queen. Queen. Okay. The next sign is dance, because there's lots of dancing in fairy tales. So, for dance, you put your palm flat. Then with the other hand, you make like two little legs with your fingers, and you just wave them about. Wave them back and forth. Dance. Dance. So I like to dance. Perfect. Okay, our next sign. Oh wait, we already did that one. A repeat snuck into my cards. Oh no, I'm sorry guys. I'll have to fix that later. Our next sign is the sign for castle. So for castle, you can see we have lots of little pictures. So let's look at this. So for castle, you go like this, and then like this, and then like this. That's what it looks like. So, do, 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 do. Just like that. Castle. just like that. Okay, and this one's blank, so that's all of our signs that we have for today. So I'm going to set these aside, and I want you to remember some of these signs so that if you hear them today, you can do them along with me. Okay, so now it is time for the book Clever Jack Takes the Cake. And this one's by Candace Fleming and G. Brian Carras. Ooh, do you see the castle? We just signed that time. I'm going to readjust myself so we can see. Clever Jack Takes the Cake. One summer morning, long ago, a poor boy named Jack found an invitation slipped beneath his cottage door. It read, His Majesty the King cordially invites all the children of the realm to the princess' 10th birthday party tomorrow afternoon in the castle courtyard. A party, exclaimed Jack, for the princess? His mother sighed. What a shame you can't go. Why not? Asked Jack. Because we have nothing fine enough to give her, his mother replied, and no money to buy a gift. Jack had to admit his mother was right. His pockets were empty except for the matchsticks he always carried. As for their belongings, a spinning wheel, a threadbare quilt, a pitted ox, what princess wanted those? The boy thought a moment. Then I will make her something, he declared. I will make her a cake. From what? Asked his mother. From the dust in the cupboard? From the dirt on the floor? I have a better idea, said Jack. And that same morning he traded his axe for 2 bags of sugar and his quilt for a sack of flour. He gave the hen an extra handful of seed in exchange for 2 fresh eggs. And he kissed the cow on the nose for a pail of her sweetest milk. He gathered walnuts, he dipped candles, and in the strawberry patch he searched and searched and searched until he found the reddest, juiciest, most succulent strawberry in the land. Delicious, said Jack as he plucked it from its stem. Look at all the pictures. Then he set to work, churning, chopping, blending, baking. That same night, Jack stood back to admire his creation. 2 layers of golden sweet cake, covered in buttery frosting and ringed with 10 tiny candles. Across the cake's top, walnuts spelled out Happy Birthday, Princess, and in the very center, in the place of honor, sat the succulent strawberry. What a fine, fine gift, said Jack's mother. Jack grinned. Early the next morning, with combed hair and clean shirt, Jack set off for the castle, holding the cake proudly before him. Before long, he came to a bloom-speckled meadow. Perhaps I should pick a bouquet for the princess, thought Jack, just as 24 blackbirds rose into the air. Like a sudden summer storm cloud, they swirled around the cake, pecking, nipping, flapping, picking. Get back, hollered Jack. I'm taking this cake to the princess. Aw, caw, 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 cackled the birds. And as quickly as they had come, they were gone, taking with them the walnuts that spelled Happy Birthday, Princess. Jack looked at his gift. At least I still have 2 layers of cake, 10 candles, and the succulent strawberry, he said. Holding the cake proudly before him, Jack continued on to the castle. Before long, he came to a bridge. "Toll!" a voice demanded. Out stepped a wild-haired troll. "No one crosses my bridge without paying." "But I haven't any money," said Jack. The troll licked his lips. "But you do have a cake." "I'm taking this to the princess," said Jack. "And just how will you get it there?" growled the troll. "You and your cake are on this side of the river. The princess is on that side, and my bridge is the only way across." Jack considered the problem. "I will make you a deal. If you let me across, I will give you half this cake." "Agreed," grunted the troll. So Jack slid out 1 layer, and as the troll slobbered and gobbled, crossed the bridge. On the other side, he looked down at his gift. "At least I still have a layer of cake, 10 candles, and the succulent strawberry," he said. Holding the cake proudly before him, Jack continued on to the castle. Before long, he came to the forest. No birds chirped here, no squirrels chittered. As if under a spell, the entire wood lay silent, sleeping. Only the wind seemed to whisper, "Beware, beware." Pulling the cake closer, Jack pressed on. The road grew narrower. The trees grew thicker. The light grew dimmer. Soon it was so dark that Jack couldn't see the cake in front of his face. "Turn back," the wind whispered. "Turn back." "I can't," cried Jack. "I'm taking this cake to the princess." And he reached into his pocket for a matchstick, struck it on his shoe, and lit one of the 10 candles. The tiny flame cast a magical circle of light. In its warm glow, Jack carefully made his way around. But the little candle quickly burned down and, poof, snuffed out. So Jack lit a second candle. But he had not gone much further before, poof, it too snuffed out. So Jack lit a third, and then a fourth, then a fifth, until the 10th and final candle flickered, fluttered, sputtered to its end. And as it did, the road widened, the trees thinned, and the bright sunlight shone once more. Jack looked down at his gift. "At least I still have a layer of cake and the succulent strawberry," he said. Holding the cake proudly before him, Jack continued on to the castle. Before long, he came to a clearing. "Good morning, young sir," called out a old gypsy woman. "Have you come to see Samson dance?" At the sound of his name, the bear beside her rose up on his hind legs. "I don't have time," replied Jack. "I am taking this cake to the princess." "Then we shall make it a quick jig," said the gypsy, snatching up her concertina. "Umfa, umfa," wheezed the instrument. "Shuffle, kick, shuffle, shuffle, kick," danced the bear. Tap, tap, tap went Jack's foot as he sat down on the cake to dance with his new friends. Gulp! "Hey!" cried Jack. "That bear ate the princess's cake!" "Patooey! But not the strawberry," said the gypsy. "Samson hates fruit." Jack looked down at his gift, and for several seconds he was unable to speak. Finally he said, "At least I still have this, the reddest, juiciest, most succulent strawberry in the land." And holding the strawberry proudly before him, Jack continued on to the castle, across the drawbridge, through the fortress walls, straight into the courtyard. What a sight! There, smack in the center of all the merry festivities, sat the princess on her velvet throne. A long line of guests stretched before her. One by one they presented her with their gifts, each more fabulous than the rest. But even the most magnificent treasures did not seem to interest her highness. "More rubies?" she said with a bored yawn. "How tiresome! Another tiara? How dull!" Joining the line, Jack glanced down at his humble gift. "And just what have you brought the princess?" a guard asked from behind him. A strawberry, said Jack, the reddest, juiciest, most succulent one in the land. He held it out for the guard to see. That is a fine piece of fruit, agreed the guard, but I cannot allow you to give it to the princess. Why not? Asked Jack. Because she is allergic to strawberries, said the guard. One taste and she swells up like a balloon. No, gasped Jack. Yes, said the guard. I'm sorry, but you'll have to give it to me. Reluctantly, Jack handed over the strawberry. Now Jack found himself at the front of the line. The princess turned her gaze to him. And what have you brought me? She asked. Jack gulped. He blushed. He shuffled his feet. Well? Jack took a deep breath and knelt down before her. Your Highness, he began, let me explain what happened. And he told the princess about trading for the ingredients to bake a golden sweet cake just for her. He told her about the swirling storm of blackbirds, the wild-haired troll, and the dark, dark wood. He told her about the old gypsy woman and her concertina, and the bear who loved to dance but hated fruit. And in the end, I still had the succulent strawberry, but... The boy sighed. You're allergic to strawberries. He waited for her to yawn. So the guard ate it, he concluded. The princess laughed and clapped her hands in delight. A story, she exclaimed, and an adventure story at that. What a fine gift. Then the princess rose from her throne and proclaimed, Time for birthday cake, and my new friend, Jack, shall have the honor of cutting it. And they're eating cake together. Okay, so that is our story for today. And now, let's do our activity. Let's make some Mad Libs. So, if you have ideas for what you want me to do for these, you can put them in the comments. But I do have different bowls and stuff here with the things on them. Okay, so the first thing I need is an adjective. So something that describes something else. So I have my bowl of adjectives here, and I am going to go ahead and grab one of them. And I will write it in. And if you've never done Mad Libs before, how this works is that you will go through, or I will go through a story that is a Mad Lib, and then there are certain words missing. So, like adjective, I just wrote in hilarious for the adjective. So, next we need a girl name. So, I have my bowl of girl names here. Oh, and our adjective that we chose was hilarious. Okay, let's see. Some of these names in here are boy names, so I had to make sure that I grabbed the girl name, and I did not. So it looks like the girl name that we chose was Elsa. So, okay. And then next we need a town name. So I have names and locations in here, and I'm going to grab one. So these are town names and locations. Let's see. And the one we chose was Utopia. I'm going to make a pile of the ones we used. And I'm writing them on my Mad Lib sheet here. And then once we're done, I will read the story to you. Okay, so we need another adjective. Where are my adjectives here? Okay, I'm going to pick out an adjective. Okay. The adjective is outrageous. Oh, wait. Okay, we need one more adjective. Please, if you have one, I have an adjective, you can put it in the comments. Otherwise, I'm going to pull from my bowl. Our adjective that I pulled out was blue. Okay, and our next one is school subject. So, I have a bowl of some school subjects here. I'm going to go through and pick one out. This is the one I chose. Science. Okay, and now we need a verb ending in ing. So a verb is something that you do. So things like running, jumping, playing, those kinds of things. Okay, so I have my bowl here. And I'm going to not look and pull one out. So I got screaming. Okay. Oh, and then I need the same verb. So I'm going to write that one in there. Okay, and then I need an animal. So I have my animals in this cup here. Okay, let's see. What are we going to grab out? Cat. Okay. Okay, and then we need another name. So I need my name bowl. This is our name bowl. If you have a name that you want me to use, you can put it in the comments. But otherwise, I'm just going to pull from this bowl here. Okay, and the name we pulled was Harry. Then we need the same name. And if you have a suggestion that I didn't use, you can always tell me and I can re-put it in. And I will put this Mad Lib in afterwards so that you guys can play it at home. So I need a location. So I'm going to grab my location container or bowl. I'm going to grab one of these. Ooh, Argentina. Princess followed, and then we need the same name. And then we need another verb ending in ing, so I'm going to bring out my verb bowl. And I'm going to pick one out. Jumping. And when this is done, it's going to be pretty silly. And then I need an adjective. Let's see what we can get. Got my adjective bowl here. Okay. And the adjective that we got is pretty. Then we need another verb that ends in ing. So I have my bowl here, and I'm just going to look through and grab one. Ooh, dancing is our verb ending in ing. And that is all of them. And I'm going to post this Mad Lib in the comments so you can do it yourself at home. But this is Fairy Tale Mad Libs. So I'm going to set it down so I can read it. So, once upon a time, there was a hilarious, that was our adjective, princess named Elsa. Hold it up. That lived in a kingdom called Utopia. And that was our town name. She was an outrageous princess who was blue by all. One day, the princess finished her science lessons and decided to go screaming. While screaming, she met a cat named Harry. Harry told her that there was a fairy in Argentina that needed help. The princess followed Harry to find the fairy and offer them help. Once they got to the fairy, they discovered that the fairy could not stop jumping. This was a big problem because if the fairy did not stop, they wouldn't be able to cast the pretty enchantment for the kingdom. So the princess saved the day by dancing the fairy. The fairy was able to cast the enchantment and everything went back to normal. The end. That was our Fairy Tale Mad Lib. And I made this Mad Lib and story. So I hope you enjoyed the Mad Lib and story. And now, what we're going to do is I'm going to put these aside and then we will listen to a song and then we will be done. So it's a little bit shorter of a live today, but that is okay. So let's get the story running. So the song going. Mind. I hope you can hear. Hold on, this isn't the right song. Here we go.
Remember that magical afternoon the whole family's...
Hold on, it's an ad. Okay, here we go. Okay. And you can dance along.
If you could wish upon a star.
Oh, we know star.
What would it be? Would you drive the princess car? Or take the captain's ship to sea? Hip hop fairy tales is a magical life for both of you and me. Hip hop fairy tales. We will dive into a world of dazzling fantasy. Would you wish for a fish or your favorite dish? Eat a lot of meat or call your best friend Pete? Stand in a land with a castle made of sand or dance in France with ants in your pants? Would you sing? Would you run? Would you skip? Would you hop? Would you fly high? Oh my! These extraordinary things are sure to please. Hip hop fairy tales is a magical life for both of you and me. Hip hop fairy tales. We will dive into a world of dazzling fantasy.
And that is it for today. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Liz with Get Your Play Online. And this has been learning some American Sign Language. And today we learned the fairy tale signs. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed learning some fairy tale signs and doing some Mad Libs. I will make sure that I post the Mad Lib in the comment section later after the live. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys online.